A very good morning everyone. I am Dr. Prajakta Barapatre, a senior lecturer in Department of Prosthodontics, Crown and Bridge, Mahatma Gandhi University of Medical Sciences and Technology. Today we are going to discuss about mandibular anatomical landmarks. The discussion will be dealt under following heads: anatomical landmarks, the mandibular edentulous foundation, classification of the landmarks, and conclusion. Anatomical landmarks, they are defined as recognizable anatomic structures which can be used as a point of reference. This definition was given in Glossary of Prosthodontic Terms 8. The anatomical landmarks in the mandibular edentulous foundation are the labial frenum, the labial vestibule, the buccal frenum, the buccal vestibule, the lingual frenum, alveolingual sulcus, and retromolar pad. The mandibular edentulous foundation consists of following landmarks: the residual alveolar ridge, the labial frenum, the buccal frenum, labial vestibule, buccal shelf area, retromolar pad region, retromylohyoid sulcus, and the alveolingual sulcus. The labial frenum, it is a fibrous band covered by mucous membrane extending from labial aspect of the residual alveolar ridge to the lower lip. It has no muscle attachments and is inserted in vertical direction. It is best demonstrated when the lip is pulled forwards. It is accommodated by a groove in the mandibular denture. The labial vestibule is the portion of the oral cavity bound on one side by the teeth, gingiva, and alveolar ridge. In an edentulous mouth, the residual ridge, and on the other side by lips anterior to the buccal frenum. The boundaries include labial aspect of the residual alveolar ridge, mucolabial alveolar fold, orbicularis oris muscle, which is the lips. The labial flanges of the mandibular denture occupy this space. The buccal frenum, single or multiple folds of mucous membrane extending from the buccal mucous membrane and reflects towards the slope of the crest of alveolar mucosa. It is present distal to the canine region. The buccal vestibule, the portion of the oral cavity bounded on one side by the teeth, gingiva, and alveolar ridge. In edentulous mouth, the residual ridge, and on the lateral side by the cheeks posterior to the buccal frenum. The buccal vestibule overlies fibers of buccinator muscle. Buccal flange in the mandibular denture occupies this space. The buccal shelf area is bound laterally by external oblique ridge and internally by slopes of the residual ridges. Bone in this area is very dense and is placed horizontal to the stresses, which means that it is least prone to resorption under stress. The bone underlying is compact bone and there are several muscle attachments, and these are the reason why this is a primary stress bearing area in the mandibular edentulous foundation. The retromolar pad area, a mass of tissue comprised of non-keratinized mucosa located posterior to the retromolar papilla and overlying loose glandular connective tissue. This freely movable area should be differentiated from the pear-shaped pad. The pear-shaped pad, the most distal extension of attached keratinized mucosa overlying the mandibular ridge crest, formed by the scarring pattern following extraction of your third or second molars. It should be differentiated from the retromolar pad area. The lingual frenum. This frenum overlies the genioglossus muscle, which originates from the superior genial tubercles. It exhibits differing configuration in width as well as height. Surgical intervention is indicated when it interferes with border extension and stability of mandibular denture. In such cases, it is advised to go for frenectomy. Also in case of tongue tie, which causes restricted tongue movements. The sublingual fold, the crescent shaped area on the floor of the mouth following the inner wall of the mandible and tapering towards the molar regions. It is formed by the sublingual gland and the submandibular duct. It is the fold of mucous membrane from the tongue to the residual ridges. The mylohyoid muscle. It forms muscular floor of the mouth. It arises from the mylohyoid ridge and rises progressively on the body of the mandible. Mylohyoid muscle influences the mid and anterior portions of the inferior border of the lingual flange. Length of the flange is determined by the displaceability of the floor of the mouth and movements of the tongue. Retromylohyoid space. An anatomic area in the alveolingual sulcus just lingual to the retromolar pad, bounded anteriorly by the mylohyoid ridge, posteriorly by the retromylohyoid curtain, inferiorly by the floor of the alveolingual sulcus, and lingually by the anterior tonsillar pillar when the tongue is in relaxed position. This space lies at the distal end of alveolingual sulcus and provides bracing to the mandibular denture. The residual alveolar ridge. It is the portion of the alveolar processes and its soft tissue covering which remains after the removal of teeth. Coming on to the next section are the mandibular landmarks, which can be broadly grouped into first the limiting structures. These are the labial frenum, the labial vestibule, the buccal frenum, buccal vestibule, lingual frenum, alveolingual sulcus, retromolar pad, pterygomandibular raphe. The next are the supporting structures, which are the buccal shelf area. It is also the primary stress bearing region, and the residual alveolar ridge. The relief areas are the crest of residual alveolar ridge, especially in the anterior region of the edentulous ridges. The next are the mental foramen, the genial tubercles, and torus mandibularis, if any are present. To conclude, sound knowledge of the anatomical landmarks of the edentulous jaw is a prerequisite if one has to achieve the objective of fabrication of complete denture, which has maximum retention, stability and support with preservation of underlying structures with minimum post-insertion problems. References are Boucher's textbook of complete dentures. Thank you.